Hey guys, Andy at Spoken Label. My friend Eric Loveland Heath. Straight over to Eric. Before we ever do a bit of reading for us, we have other bits of news we forgot to mention in the first half. Over to you, my
Yes,
friend.
yeah. So as next year, there's going to be hopefully a book by Phil Hubbard published called "Listening to Landscape," which should feature Shropshire Hill Country, which is a nice tie-in with the 15-year anniversary of the release. And also, there's an EP of remixes called "Secret Hills," which we're going to be putting out by remixes by Luminaries. Some good names on there as well.
Yeah, we won't mention who yet in case, nature beats those sort of things. Best planned plans don't happen, all things change last minute. So, yeah, I know that's additional stuff. Okay, my friends, over to you now, 'cause you're going to read out a couple of extracts of pieces for us, aren't you, today as well?
So yeah, the book itself is mainly it's mainly pictorial with short accounts underneath, and so I thought I would try and pick a few that are quite in keeping with the situation we find ourselves in. So I've got there's one on flooding which I'm going to read, and then a few other little bits and bobs. So this is about the flooding, which should, if I was in the other room, I'd be seeing from the window. When the floods come and the rivers are in spate, the landscape is transformed. Fields marked only by their hedgerows, lanes submerged, impassable. This can often take weeks to clear, and from the prospect of nearby hills, you can view the surface gleaming like a giant mirror, reflecting the sky from the earth. Recently, I spoke to a couple who had taken to applying the suffix on sea to their new abode, for so often did the water swell in the basin below that they considered mooring a boat, just in case. For others who are less fortunate and for whom the floods claim their livelihood or occupy their lower floors, it is no laughing matter. For with the coming of the rains, they will soon rise again and pray that the pumps hold out.
No, yeah, excellent stuff indeed, mate. Really. Sometimes it shows them you're doing reading something out like that. It really brings it to life sometimes. So who knows? You might do an audiobook version of it next year. Who knows?
I would love to. Yeah, I'd love to do I think the potentially the idea would be a sort of an audiobook of a collection of them. So you like the collected lore of Plenty Wenlock would be one. But
Yeah.
I do, yeah, I like they are in a very real sense meant to be read. They read like someone reading. It was easier to read them out and then work out whether there was a sort of a little glitch in the flow of the words, or sometimes you sort of move them around, and just because it's easier to it flows more, and so they're written in flow, and so I do. It's at moments like this I realise that there are some nights in town which are non-pretentious poetry ones, which maybe I could take this book to and read some from. It would be quite fun.
Yeah, definitely. That's a great idea, mate. So, no, I humbly agree. Okay, have you got to, was it one other piece for us today, or have you got another one in mind I don't know about as
Oh,
well?
I've got. Well, I thought I'd bring. There's a few because
That's
they're quite
fine.
short, but I'll do this one here. So this is a castle, Clun Castle. Could you be king of the castle? Well, in the picturesque town of Clun, in Shropshire's southwest corner, it appears somebody was.
Oh, wow. I forgot you've really caught me out with that then. That's really short, mate.
Yeah, yeah. So some are very short. Some of them are quite. I think it's almost like that. You notice the way people write promotionally, or some of the
Hmm.
guides that are written in a sort of, I don't know, quite bombastic way, quite confident way. And I quite like the way that people would write something that would be da 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 da, and so to that pattern.
Right.
Um, I'll do the bridge at Brevin, and then I'll do the sign. Um, so when the snow comes, they close the bridge at Brevin. For local residents, this then requires a 14-mile detour down equally treacherous lanes. Most don't bother, and who could blame them? When snow falls, the whole country grinds to a halt. Instead, the children sledge atop the foliage fields, or throw snowballs and fashion white figures from the drifts. But no one goes on the road or up to the bridge, for that way only bad things lie.
That bit's almost like a horror story at the end of it there, really. You're like, it is some like sort of folklore horror on the way with that. So, but I think
Yeah,
the picture works really well with that one as well, actually. The people on
yeah,
page 9, it's really very, very gothic.
yeah, yes. It's the bridge. It's yeah, covered in surrounded by snow, completely empty. Yeah, it's there's something about it. I mean, there's a telephoto image, and something about that really sort of makes it more curved than it seems in the landscape. It seems to bring something out in it. Looks almost fairy tale.
Yeah, definitely.
And then I'll
That's one you
yeah
said in there, so yeah.
yeah I'll do the last one because I'll probably read the entire book, wouldn't I? Um, so there's this one's of a sign. Um, Times have been hard for businesses and sign writers alike. Many have fallen by the wayside, and premises lie empty, especially in more rural, outlying areas. The pastoral equivalents, perhaps, of persistent urban decay. Where once the lawmakers and planners aimed to regenerate the obdurate spaces which lie between towns, now they eye the outskirts, polluted sites ripe for regeneration. Did anyone inquire, I wonder, before the sign did fall? Perhaps someone did, who then took pity and called the number it displayed, so that it would not be alone, so that the place knew that it mattered, that it once again was seen. Or does it remain dormant, shut up, good for naught, cold still and out of sight, a relic from some other time?
Fantastic. Oh wow, that's a really good piece again. That I think you've done it. I think the picture again goes really well. Like people looking because the sign there, isn't there? Like of all inquiries, crashed in the mushed into the ground.
Yeah, funny enough, a few months after that was taken, the sign was halfway up the road in a hedge. You know, it's I think it's the nature of it. What Plenty Wenlock really I want to do through Plenty Wenlock, but also, I mean, as a just an overall thing, I think seeping through my music is rural life, rural existence, the harshness of it. I mean, factories or units, you know, being built and then their purpose leaving the area, I guess. You'd end up with these signs being put up, and then these signs would not be maintained; they'd be blown down. And it really struck me of kind of how lonely not only that sign would be, but also the building, how harsh it is to be something in that's round a corner that no one else would see. And you know that they scar well either scar or you know are part of the landscape. Sometimes they sort of merge with it. There's a really, I just wanted to mention, there's an incredible um, photographer who I'm in awe of her work, called Joanne Coates, who has been doing studies of women living in rural areas and lots of you know, fascinating, uh, I guess, studies as well on the experience of people having to move, the lack of housing, lack of work. But that's in the north. But I felt a real sort of similarity of. But I think it's not just the storms. It's not just living in an area where there's certainly a certain harshness to either the landscape being agricultural or what the what the storms, what the weather does to it. But also the experience. So you kind of see the. I don't want it to view it as like the landscape being or the area being damaged or eroded, uh, as in you know to say that uh, it's in a negative way in that way, and saying that you know it's poorer for it, but just the effects of things on it. So the effects of poverty, people not investing, people building things without particular care or attention. I mean, it struck me quite recently that they're building a house quite nearby, and now I can't see part of the field that I would always have seen. So it's
Yeah.
just you see that and you don't want to be negative about this. We need houses. We desperately need houses. But I've also noticed things such as in an area where it's all uh, you know slate, all Welsh slate tile, very sort of greyish, brownish, dark slate. A lot of it, the newer slate coming in is terracotta. So you've got these new houses being built, which some of them are original and some of them are terracotta, and it sort of clashes. The problem I see there is that you are basically marking things out. So if someone gets the tiles on their roof replaced with one that doesn't fit the area, you're kind of marking them out as that they couldn't get the right stuff for the area, or there's lack of supply, or that was done by someone on the cheap, or I think that sort of that nature of the way that the landscape changes in front of your eyes, that someone's field has been built on, or someone, I mean, just down the road, someone put a massive gate up, and I suddenly realized I can't look over the gate anymore, and it sort of felt industrial. And so, yeah, that kind of that nature of feeling like uh, things are being done without particular care, or done for particular financial reasons, or the weather is doing it. All those things. I guess that'd be very acutely felt by someone who maybe had a tree in their garden that falls down. You'd always only ever see the gap where that tree should be.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It's where I think society is going, because I'm like, because I'm with me, obviously, I live in like a big city and the east side of it, and everywhere you see nowadays, they're cramming houses onto it nowadays. It's going to start sneaking into the countryside, what you're going on about there as well. And I
Well,
think it's going to happen more and more, I think.
there's a counterpoint, I guess, would be that Ben Holton wrote an incredible song years and years ago on for his Smile to Empire first album called The Village Compass, and which is his song is about them building at night. In the woods and trees, they're building these, like the idea that you would wake up in the morning and there's a new set of houses in a place you didn't expect them to be,
New
just
estate,
popped
and
up.
almost like, yeah, it's almost like
Yeah.
a new estate pops up overnight. It does, because it's next time you come centre of Manchester, you're going to see new buildings have cropped up where replace older ones, and it just things are built. Every time I go centre of Manchester, it's changing all the time. Every time I go to London, there's a new
Oh,
estate
absolutely.
cropped up, yeah. But I've only been to Birmingham twice. I can't talk about Birmingham.
Yeah.
But like I
So,
said, if you see the pace of life is getting faster and faster, I think.
absolutely. And I didn't want to in any way view. I don't want it to ever be sort of snobbish or anything like that, to say, well, yeah, people shouldn't have houses. It's just more noticing the things that mark it out. So there's a new estate being built by the school up the road, and the typical thing they do is that they build these houses and then make a junction, and then they make the junction and then stop the road from working. So you end up with huge traffic jams because they've, instead
Yeah,
of putting the junction on at a point when it's quiet or working on it on a quiet time, they just do it and then just leave it and leave traffic lights on. And then suddenly you've got enormous, you know, this is the main route through mid Wales. So you got and to the coast. So you end up with the estate taking precedent over the road, which is a bit, again, a bit tricky if this is the main artery road. There's a point up in Telford where they built on an old sugar beet factory, and they narrowed the road and made it and took out the lines on it and made it 30 miles an hour because the estate was built up to the road. So they maximized the amount of space, but then also compromised how the road can work. Now, obviously, roads, I don't want to be sort of viewed as being sort of pro cars and motorists and all that kind of stuff, but I rely on my car to get about. I can't get anywhere without it. But I just noticed that if you are affecting the flow of roads and the use of roads for because of the way that you're building houses, that's not working in sync with what you got there. So it has actions and repercussions that are probably not intended, but do affect materially your life and the life of other people. So yeah, so just that estate down there, well, not estate, a bunch of houses they're building, they're red brick. And they were red brick, and all the other houses around there are red brick, and then they suddenly covered it in white concrete. And I thought, oh, that's weird. I didn't see that. That wasn't on the plans. And all I could think of was in Shrewsbury, there's a Premier Inn, and the Premier Inn was covered in this white concrete, and the white concrete looks terrible now. I mean, it's
that's it.
so damaged and by damp and things. And all I could think of was these are going to look terrible soon. It would have been better to have kept them in keeping with all the other buildings in the area being red brick. But I don't know. It seems to be that I mean, we've got a prime potential bunch of houses being built there, but they're all going to be wooden and glass, and it's all bizarre. Kind of how I don't think anything turns out the way anyone is actually proposing.
Yeah, I think it's nature of the beast. I think they start stuff off, and then, well, we've had it ourselves where certainly when an old swimming bath has just got demolished, and we've had it where they put planning permission in originally, and it got knocked back 4 times because they wanted to put too much in a small space, and it was just, what's the chaos? Yeah, so.
The roundabout down the road towards town has got a McDonald's on it and gets jammed in the summer. So they're not just proposing; they've actually got planning permission to knock down the
Oh,
house, put a hotel and a Costa there, and then a petrol station the other side. And you're thinking,
oh,
well, no, I don't know if it's a petrol station. And then they got the Smithfield, the cattle market as well, which jammed on Mondays. You're thinking, well, I don't think this roundabout can cope. I don't think this roundabout it currently can't cope because it's getting jammed in the summer by everyone going into the drive-through. I don't think it can actually cope with that amount of traffic and still be a functioning roundabout.
yeah.
So
No, we've got that
how
near where we are at the minute because there's a McDonald's cropped up a couple of years
what I
ago
was
on the side
just
of the
going to
retail park, yeah, and that buggered
yeah
it up. Yeah.
I was just going to say as well that where you are your train station apparently doesn't have any services.
Yeah, that's true. Denton,
That's it. I just
yeah,
found
people wonder this one to me is Denton. Yep, it's set a record. I think it's unless they've reduced it again. It used to be one a week going one way and one a week going the other way.
is it the Stockport to Staley Bridge? Is it that one?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So someone did a brilliant radio program about the ghost trains. So it was parliamentary services. So one of them, the ridiculous one, was that the Brighton to Manchester route went through London, but wasn't a train for most of the section through London. It got to I think Liverpool Street, and then it became a bus. But you had to go and walk around and find the bus shelter with the particular sign on it stating that it was that. Then it would take you down to I think it was Waterloo, somewhere like that, or London Bridge, and then you could go to Brighton that way. But because they have to open a public consultation, it's cheaper to run and it'll probably be not back. They have to keep running these services. So the Stockport to Staley Bridge was that it was run at such a time that no one would use it, which is such a ludicrous idea, isn't it? I mean, again, there was a brilliant bit in that radio program where someone tried to buy a ticket to where was it then? It was Milford. I don't think it was Milford Haven. No, not Milford Haven. Sorry, somewhere near New Haven. There were two train stations, one that very close to the other, about 50 yards, and they managed to get a ticket for it, but no trains stop there. So the train company is duty bound to transport the people to the nearest station by taxi if they are managing to do that. So they did, and they got a taxi. They were able to were given permission to get a taxi to take them the 50 yards to the other train station, but didn't bother. Just got the win, and then just ludicrous. I
Oh.
mean, amazing. I can't. I wonder if some of these might end up in the law.
I it might have been Manchester law, that's for sure. Some of the stuff that goes on at my way train stations, yeah, it's crazy, mate, indeed. So, listen, people, me and Eric are going to carry on chatting a bit longer yet because I've not spoken to you for ages, mate. Anyway, but I want to thank you, Dan, for the spoken label today, mate. It's been a pleasure as always, mate.
Cheers, thank you. It's been really
Right,
nice.
that's it, folks. Anyway, so this will be out for Christmas, anyway. So, hence for why I made sure I've got the Christmas t-shirt on. So, oh, hang on.
So yeah, perfect Christmas present. Big plug. Yeah, and signed if anyone wishes it to as well. And
It's
also
even better.
just to mention, in one other point of it is the incredible map done by Victoria, my partner, who we
Very,
haven't
very
mentioned
talented.
much, but knits it together beautifully. It's going to be an evolving map as well. It's going to subtly change through the edition.
Really, yeah, check it out, people. What links are all the way at the bottom of this podcast. So thank you again, Eric. All right, people, that's it. Yeah, as Don Callis over at AEW Wrestling says, stay safe and stay over, and we will see you all next